All right, all right. Welcome to our free workshop. This is a workshop that's going to introduce everyone here to a work management software called ClickUp. Now, I like to start by knowing who I'm speaking to. So in the first section of our program, we'll be doing a couple of introductions. So we'll do it methodically. I'll call out a name and then please introduce yourself, right? Your name and surname, and then just mention whether you have why you're even interested in this workshop. So whether you have a business, whether you want to use it for personal reasons, or you just were curious, right? So we can start with Lizzie, since you were the first person here. Lizzie, please introduce yourself, if you don't mind. Liz, you still with us? Please unmute your mic. Okay, we'll move on. Carol, are you with us? Can you please unmute your mic for an introduction? Everyone's mic seems to be muted. I don't know if everyone is aware. We're doing introductions. So the idea is to kind of just introduce your name and surname and mention why you're here. Can anyone unmute their mics in order to begin? Everyone's mics are muted.
If anyone would like to as well.
Guys, I'm so sorry. There's something wrong with my mic. I'm sorry. I wasn't ignoring you. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Okay, my bad. Hi, I'm Lizzie and I'm from Turf and I'm very excited to be here. I work for Take a Lot and yeah, I'm curious to hear the ideas of my two little friends. So happy to be here.
Nice. We can move on to the next introduction. I saw Andrew. Andrew, you could unmute your mic. Andrew, if you could quickly introduce yourself. Let us know why'd you join, who you are.
Sure. Good evening to the panel. My name is Andrew Kwabane. Me personally, I'm very fascinated with different softwares as well as techniques of improving productivity. So having a software, I use a lot of different techniques to actually improve my productivity. So I was very curious about this kind of software and wanted to see if it would be useful to me and how I'd be able to apply it in my own life and some of the stuff I'm doing.
Nice. Andrew, do you have a startup of your own?
Not yet, but that's in the near future.
Okay. Carol, you're the last one up. Carol, if you can unmute your mic, please introduce yourself. Tell us why you're here. Otherwise, we will move on. All right. It seems like Carol's mic is permanently muted.
Yeah.
I am going to continue with the next part of our agenda. To do that, I'm going to share my screen. Bear with me. Give me a second. Everyone now should be able to see my screen.
Yes, we do.
Okay. 100%. Is that clear, Emmanuel?
Yes, it is.
Okay. That being said, let's get right into it. Okay. In his highly celebrated book, Atomic Habits, James Clear says, "You do not rise to the level of your goals, but you fall to the level of your systems." In a 4-minute conscious stream on YouTube, venture capitalist Vusi Tembakwayo says that discipline is more important than motivation. In both these instances, although not immediately apparent, there is one purveying wisdom. It is the paradigm-shifting realization that most people have goals, ideas, visions. However, not everyone will grow to realize those ambitions. Next time you look around a neighborhood or a city, or a town, a village, I want you to meditate on the fact that out of all the people you see, no one wished a bad life for themselves. None of them, and I mean absolutely none of them, wished failure upon their dreams. You see, the energy and excitement that comes with wanting to achieve something does not automatically translate to the skills needed in order to take that idea from starting point to finish line. In this workshop, you're going to learn a bit about administering ideas. You're going to do this by learning how to use what is commonly known as a work management tool or project management software. See, almost all things can be classified as projects: the business you want to start, the nonprofit that you're passionate about, or your content creation career. Heck, even your personal life is one big project. ClickUp is a software tool that is capable of organizing all your projects in one place. It is the tool that we've been using for our various startups. ClickUp is not the only work management tool in the space. It exists in an ecosystem of competing platforms like Asana, Monday.com, Notion.so, Teamwork.com, and so on. Forbes magazine released a list of the best management software for 2022. And in this list, ClickUp was chosen as the best tool for agile development teams. Let me just end the share quickly. To all the attendees, thank you dearly for joining us this session. If you take the skills you learn here seriously, not only will you become a much more capable leader in whatever space you operate in, what is even more important to me is that you'll be able to account for the visions you have set for yourself. I did mention when we started that this is well, I didn't mention, but this is a free space. And I mentioned that if you have any question during Emmanuel's tutorial, then please use the raise hand function that is innate to Zoom. And yeah, thank you for coming. Emmanuel, I'll pass it over to you.
Thank you very much, Marcel, for that lovely introduction. Yeah, with that being said, we can get straight into it. But I also do want to mention that Carol did issue her apology. She is listening, but was just not able to unmute her mic at the moment. But with that being said, let me share my screen. It's exciting times, guys. Exciting times. Confirm everyone can see my screen. All right. Okay. So yeah, on the agenda that I believe everyone was able to see beforehand, the first topic we're going to look at when it regards to ClickUp is the payment plan, right? So I think that's a very important thing. Is it accessible for normal people like you and I? One thing I do want to mention is that right at the top here, it says that if you do progress in your payment plan, you save up to 45% by doing it yearly instead of monthly, right? What we currently use here at Abby is the free forever plan. So it's free forever, clearly stated. But let's look at some of the specs that comes with this free plan. It's, of course, you get 100 megabyte storage, unlimited tasks, which we'll talk about, unlimited free plan members. So a lot of people can onboard. Two-factor authentication. So that just means that after you sign in, it'll probably also go to your phone. You'll get a code so you can verify with your phone. Collaborative tasks, whiteboard, real-time chat, email in ClickUp, Kanban boards, which you will see in the presentation as well. Sprint management, native time tracking, in-app video recording, 24 hours support. Right, with this being said, right at the top here, ClickUp gives a recommendation of what payment plan will be best for each person, right? Or what will be suitable for each person's needs. So the free forever plan is best for personal use, right? However, most people that are also on YouTube and also even in our own experiences, the free plan does do most, you can get most of your work done already on the free plan. So that's what makes it very, very powerful, I believe. Compared to Monday.com, you're only allowed 2 members, right? Compared to the unlimited members that can onboard. And also the tasks or the functionalities are a lot more limited than in ClickUp. If ever you do want to actually go and see a full list of the specifications for the free plan compared to the unlimited business plus, it is available right at the bottom here. I'll just skim through it a bit, but you can already see when they categorize it according to each headings, when it comes to the usage, unlimited tasks. It's across the board. It's for everybody. Spaces. Oh, okay. I see a raised hand from Masur. Masur, please do ask your question.
Well, it's not really a question. I was just going to make the small comment for clarity that, we have been using the free plan for our startup company. So although Emmanuel did allude to it, although the free plan, the recommendation says it's free for personal use, you can definitely run a small to medium enterprise on the free plan. In fact, you could run even larger enterprises just judging by the efficiency of how our government works in terms of their project management. You can really start to see how just the free tools that are offered here allow you to scale quite drastically. Welcome, Sidwell. We already did introductions, so I'm going to let Emmanuel continue. Just mute your mic and have a listen.
Yes, welcome, Sidwell. We are on topic 1, which is the payment plan. But yeah, thank you very much, Masur, also for that addition. But yeah, as I was saying as well, if you do want to really critique what functionalities will be suited for you in your personal use or in your business, they do list them quite thoroughly over here on their website page, which you can have a look through. And from what I have also seen is that when it comes to security, right? So the enhanced security, that's where the free plan or the unlimited plan might be a bit more limited, but already the 2-factor authentication and just the overall management of the site is already pretty secure. So yeah, with that being said, I believe we can move on to the next topic, which is the hierarchy setup. Very, very important, right? So before I go into the cracks, because this is really the cracks of ClickUp, right? ClickUp is basically built upon a hierarchy setup, right? Where you have the most valuable function right at the top, right to the bottom, which is probably going to be your list or just your lower end functions. But the way to see ClickUp is through a hierarchy, right? Where you can break down your work into manageable tasks, right? Within that, there are 4 main spheres of that hierarchy. One is called the workspace, right? So think of your workspace as your office building, right? Or your actual company name, right? Think of it like that. And everything about the work happens in that space. So that's the workspace. That's the highest level of the hierarchy. Secondly, you will have spaces, right? And with spaces, that's what we can usually call the departments or high level functions within the company, right? So within a company, you can have your department of finance, department of marketing, department of administration, human resources, and so on, right? That's what we call a space. Under space, we have folders, right? That's the next level. Folders are what we are space, not spaces, but I won't use the word spaces, but folders are storage items where you group lists, right? So it's just a place where you can group your lists. Lists are places where you store tasks, right? Your granular tasks, like Emmanuel message Masur about this and this, right? Those are what are tasks, and tasks are stored in lists, lists in folders, folders in spaces, and eventually spaces in workspaces, right? But if that sounds a bit confusing, we will go through it right here and then. Yeah, so I guess with that being said, let us head straight into it. Once you do sign in, right, into your ClickUp space, of course, they will send you a verification code through your email that you have to confirm first. Once that happens, you'll be automatically redirected to a space like this, right? So name your workspace. Let us go through an example of if we were to start a tech company, right? Because we do like tech, we're in the age of the 4th industrial revolution. Let's go with a tech company. And let's say you deal with NFTs, right? So let's name our company. Let's, for example, name our company Hashbits. So I'm gonna go through it like this. Sorry, Here we go. And confirm everyone can see my screen. If not, please do say. So it says
I
here.
can see your screen. I'm sure everyone else can too.
Awesome.
We do.
Awesome. So here, name your workspace. Remember, workspace is what you call your company or your company name or your office building, right? This is where work gets done. So we go to next, customize your workspace, right? You can either drop an image from, let's say, your folders in your file, maybe the company logo per se, or you can use a custom avatar if it's just, let's say, your personal work that you're using. But for us, it is Hashbits as well. So we will, let's say, we'll keep with the color red for this meantime because we are following just the color theme already placed here. So yeah, customize your workspace avatar. You click I'm happy so far. How many people will you be working with? ClickUp gives us the option with the number of employees, the number of workers there, or you just don't know yet. You do have that option of clicking I don't know, but let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people, 7 people in this one, in this meeting that we have here. So I'll click on 6 to 10. I'm lucky enough to have Masoro as well join me also in this demonstration. So I'm just going to use his email, but he will be part of my company as well. And I'm going to send him an invitation link, right? So that he will be able to collaborate on some of the work that we're going to do within this workspace, right? So you click, okay, I'm done. It will ask you, do you use any of these apps? I'm sure some of these apps look familiar to most of you. So Zoom is one, we're on Zoom. So already ClickUp has multiple integrations, right? We're already seeing that, right? With Slack is another project management tool, GitHub, you know, one for just the computer science and IT per se, Google Hangouts, it's also another meeting platform, Microsoft Teams is there. So it has a lot of integration that you can already see. Discord is one of them that might come in handy. You'll click on I'm good and you can move forward. And then it will ask you, do you want to import tasks, right? Import tasks for maybe another project management tool. So in his presentation alluded to Asana. So Asana is one of them over here. You'll have your Excel CV files that may be tasks you've just written down. In the meantime, there's also monday.com, which is another project management tool. If you're tired with one of those, you just, you know, want to jump over into ClickUp, click on that, click I'm done. That's it. Now go and change the world and don't forget to have fun. So that is the first step that you have once entering ClickUp, right? What you'll be presented with is this interface, right? So remember, in this setup, this is our workspace, our Hashbits workspace, our our tech company, basically, right? Called Hashbits, right? And within Hashbits, we have spaces. And remember what spaces are. They could be high-level spaces within your organization, or they could be departments per se, or they could be anything, but it has high priority within the workspace, right? So within that, let's create different spaces. So what will we need in a tech company, right, per se? Let's add a new space. Let's call it website development, right? Cool. This is where we edit a bit of our spaces, right? So here, of course, you'll see it says, yeah. You'll see it says space color that you can choose. Click on that. Let's go with a different color. Let's call it blue. Let's color it blue. You can also upload a certain photo, right? If you have a photo of the specific department you want, you can also upload it. You click next. This will be here for the entire workspace. It's not private to me. It's only for the Hashbits workspace. So whoever joins the Hashbits workspace will have access to this space, right? We click on next. This is also very important. Once we do this, right, we have active statuses where we can actually customize our statuses of our tasks, right? And once we start getting into tasks, I'll show you guys also properly how that fits in, right? So we have the to-do. So imagine Emmanuel has to design the website, right? We need something like that date that Masor has assigned to me. I have to do this, right? we use a color of orange, right? But of course you can choose any color, but imagine it going from red to green, right? Just like a robot, a normal robot at a normal stop sign per se. But we chose orange because, you know, red can sometimes feel like very intense. It's like you see this and it's like, yo, you have to do this now. So we chose orange for the meantime. You add another status called in progress, right? And bear in mind, you can change this to however you want, right? I'm on custom, right? So you can change this to whichever type of space you're in. Maybe if you're in marketing, right? They already placed this for you, right? Open, concept, in progress, running, review, closed, right? Normal is open, in progress, closed. But I just want to show you guys for purpose sake, this one. Oh, nice. I have to just do that again. So to do is an orange, in progress, right? Will be in blue. And then here we have to click, we have to say another status called done, right? And let's make that green. The reason for this, right, is that once a specific task is done, right, it will go to the done status, and there's a functionality in ClickUp for this, right? Which is different from complete, because complete means closed, that you will not see it in view. So ideally, you'll have a status, maybe call it done or complete. You can even name this complete. I'll even name this complete. Maybe that's even a bit better. And then from there, you will see once we create a task, how this will come into play very well. And I'll change this to, let's say, closed. So it's out of sight, right? So no one needs to have it in view, right? But of course, we'll see this in due time once you start creating the spaces. Sorry. Yeah, I'm just shifting this part here. Cool. So here we have a situation where we can enable ClickUps, right? So we have sprints, create sprints as lists to track progress of your production cycle. We have email, so you can actually email people within, okay, I see a raised hand from Carol. Yes, Carol, you may proceed.
I wanted to check, are you guys also checking the chat box? Because I also raised a question in the chat box, or we should just raise our hand if we have comments or questions. Okay, it's fine. I can still ask.
Yes.
So I was just asking that you said there's a difference between done and complete, meaning that when you're done, you can still go back and edit, but if it's complete, you cannot do anything about it.
So once it's complete, so you see I changed the name to actually closed, right? So you can alter the name how you want, but because it's under this section called closed status, ultimately what that means is that once we create a task and it moves to close, it will no longer be in sight. But you can always unhide it. There's a function where you can unhide it. I think you guys can see it here. It's actually called show. You can unhide it and edit it. So it will always be editable, but then at the end of the day, closed will actually just put it out of sight where no one needs to actually see it. Yes, and I hope that answered your question. But we will have a clear example where we use these active statuses. I also see a raised hand from Masoor.
Yeah, I was going to make a suggestion, maybe just to help her out with the logic. Can we add a new status as well and maybe call the status review?
Cool. Let's see.
Right, and also put it in the done statuses.
Okay. Blue. Oh, let's choose something very different. And we put it in the done status just above.
100%. So Carol, for your question, they might be depending on how you're working with your team, I might complete my work. Let's say Emmanuel told me that I need to design the homepage for our website. Now I might be done with that work, but we might have a meeting later that week, right? Where, let's say, for example, the way we do it in our company is that we have a meeting every week, and then we have progress reports that we have to file, right? For certain functionalities like the progress report, which Emmanuel might have time to take you through, then the work is done. I've completed the work, but I'm not sure if my seniors, if Emmanuel as my boss is happy with that work. So I'm going to change the status of my task to done. I'm done with my work. And then Emmanuel's going to come and, or I might change it to review, for example, like, please, let's review the work. It's part of the done statuses. I'm asking Emmanuel, hey, can you please, at our next meeting, can we please review this work? Emmanuel, without talking to me, without sending me a message on WhatsApp saying what are the stuff that we need to review, he can just go and ClickUp and check all the statuses that have been marked review and see, okay, in our meeting, let me prepare myself because we need to review this work. Let me set time aside or whatever. It's a collaboration tool. However, if I say done, maybe I think that we don't need to review it. I think it's done. And then Emmanuel during our meeting says, no, actually, that's not been done properly. Maybe another done status could be edit, right? Or whatever you can figure out. And then we change the statuses that way. Closed means that is now, we're finished with it. It's behind us. We can always pull it back from the app's perspective, but now it's like we're done discussing it. So I just wanted to add that little insight. Emmanuel, please monitor the amount of time that we have.
Okay. I think after this setup of a space, we will have to rejoin. Yeah.
Okay. Just to kind of explain that rejoining process, you see the link that everyone clicked on to join this meeting. As soon as our time runs out, because we're not on the paid version of Zoom, then we have to click on the same link to rejoin the meeting anew. It's a small administrative hack, but I hope everybody understands that. So the very same link that you used to join this meeting, as soon as our time runs out, just use the same link to join again. Emmanuel, I think I'll hand it back to you.
Okay, thank you very much for that explanation as well. I'll just also read it here. They do also have these question marks to fully unpack what these actual status means. So just on that, the closed tasks are done and will be hidden from view by default. This is the very last stage of a cast, right? But it will be removed, but it can always be edited, as also Masoa has said. So cool, we move on to the next. Yes, Click Apps, right? So Click Apps, some of these Click Apps are only available on other paid versions, but most of what you need is already here, such as time tracking, time estimates, tags, emails, and priority that we will all see, right, in due time. And then this one is the default setting for views, right? Remember I spoke about that Kanban view. So that's this board. You can also access your calendar. Remember, ClickUp also has an integration with your calendar as well. There's tables, there's workload. So making sure that no one works too much, you'll time the track, you'll track the time, you'll track the time, and then you'll see how much a person or an employee has worked. And then you be able to say, okay, no, he's overworked per se. And it can also help with billing, I believe, which is on higher versions of ClickUp as well. Activity, Gantt chart as well, which is some certain project management tools as well. And then from there, you'll say review space, right? So we have space name, website development, avatar, W, shared with Hashbit's workspace. So Masoa, who I added in the very beginning, will be able to enter this workspace. Task statuses as well. We have one to do, in progress, review, done, and eventually closed, right? Click apps available. You can always change this. It's not set in stone. Once you create the space, which is a nice thing, you can always go back and edit space settings and then default settings for views. And then from there, we can eventually create the space, right? And then here we are, right? Under Hashbits, right, our company, we have a space called website development. With that being said, I believe we can rejoin using the same link because we have less than a minute, and I will just stop my share in the meantime.
Okay, guys, welcome to our second session from our little break. This is a workshop introducing people to a project management tool called ClickUp. Before we went on a small break, Emmanuel invited me to his workspace as part of the people that are going to be working with him in this new business called Hashbits. This is exciting. I hope that everybody from this presentation is seeing how they could build their own business using this powerful tool. I'm going to share my screen. And let me just click on the right screen, the one with my email. I'm sure everybody can see this. So in the break, Emmanuel sent me an email inviting me to Hashbits. Well, the email is automated. There it is. Emmanuel IEC has invited you. And all I have to do as his business partner is accept the invite. Let's see. Upon doing so, I see it's opening ClickUp immediately on my side. By the way, for people who are interested, ClickUp is also available as a mobile app, so you could easily use this on your cell phone just the same. Join the Hashbits workspace. This is what Emmanuel created on his computer before we left. I'm joining the workspace, and just like that, I am part of the business. Right now, we're taking you through the process of starting a business from scratch. If Emmanuel could also invite me once the business is already set up, so I'm a new employee, I would find everything in the business already promulgated. So I'll already see what everybody's up to, what are the different departments, human resources, website development. I see who's in HR, what are the tasks people are busy with. I'd be able to see all of that if he was inviting me to a business that already existed. However, I'm starting a business with him. As this is an introduction video. Emmanuel, I'm going to stop my share and I'm going to pass the meeting back to you.
No problem. No problem. Cool. Allow me to share my screen. Here we are. Everyone can see my screen. Awesome. So I left.
100%.
Yeah, the meeting, the last session, creating the website development space, right? If I believe that everything that I created in that website development space is applicable to my other departments, all I need to do is do this, click those ellipses, duplicate, import everything, right? Everything. I don't need to go and create a whole new space with the custom statuses and whatnot, right? So it says space name already taken. So let me call this one administration, right? Cool. Copy space, right? And then let's see. And then let's just create, I already created one here. Let me just rename this one to marketing, right? So already it's looking like a proper company, right? Within the spaces. So if you guys recall, right? We had another level to our hierarchy from spaces, right? The next level, the third level, is what we call folders, right? So in the website development, we can think, what folders will we have for our NFT space, right? All we need to do is come here, click add folder, right? What's our folder name? Let's say website, right? Or web, let me say web page design, right? Because that makes sense, right? We're going to design a web page for our tech company. In that, we'll have list, we'll have shared folder with 2 people. That second person now be Maso, who has graciously accepted my invite. Task status, use space statuses, right? Which is there to do in progress, review, done, and close, right? Right there, we created that folder. Let's say if we have another folder, let's say token minting, right? So I'm just gonna, for example's sake, create another folder. Let's say token minting, right? For that. And then from there, we can create the folder. So now we have 2 folders, right? In this website development space, right? Again, after folders, what do we have next? We have what we call lists, and lists are what groups certain tasks. So you can already see how granular you can go and how important one needs to think about when creating spaces, when creating folders, or when creating even just, okay, workspaces is fine, but then when creating spaces, folders, or even lists, right? Because lists will be under your folders, right? So in website design, let's say, for example, we have here, it's just titled lists, right? But we can create multiple lists as well, right? So in this, let's say what is included in a website design. well, a web page design, well, you'll need usability, you'll need navigation as well. So let's create 2 lists, right? Let's say rename this one. Let's name it navigation per se. So how you navigate the website, navigation. Let's create another list. So again, in these ellipses, no, my bad. Again, in this folder, we can create another list. Let's call it usability, right? Create list. So now we have 2 lists inside web page design under the space called website development, right? So here you can do the same for marketing, for administration, for human resources, of course, and you can get really, really granular with it, right? From there, let's say we now want to create, let's say we now want to create tasks. But before I even go on to tasks, are there any questions when it comes to spaces, folders, and lists? I believe before I get into tasks, because creating other folders and lists, I believe everyone can already see how that has been in just this one space. I might not need to go into these other spaces, also just looking at the time. If there's no question, then I will proceed into the specifics of task creations as well. Awesome, I see your hand from Maso.
Yeah, Emmanuel, I have a question. Man, okay. It can be a bit overwhelming for me as a beginner person trying to start a business, right? Knowing, okay, what do I name I mean, you did mention that the spaces are different departments and, you know, then there's folders and lists. How do I know how to manage this properly? Is it just something I have to learn from experience? Should I suck it up as an executive and know that if I want to start a business, then I need to start understanding the structure of my business and how it should work? Or are they even templates? Is there a way that, let's say I just want a marketing business or a content creator? Is there a place where all of it is just sorted for me? Or would you suggest that it's better that I do it from scratch because my business would be unique?
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say, because every business is unique, right? And each personal use cases will be unique. Rather do set up yourself. I personally have not seen any templates when it comes to space creations, right? I think that one is so unique to the individual or to the company as well. And exactly what objectives they want to achieve at that specific moment. So I think just with that question, looking at what we are doing here at Abbey, right? We have a space called administration, right? So if I were to do it here, under administration, we have a folder called finance, right? So finance, right? So we create that folder. And we also have another folder for policy documents or policy, right? Already policy and finance can be whole of law or legal, let's say legal of the department, can be whole departments by themselves, right? But now considering that we are on the free plan and we're only limited to 5 spaces, we have to be very creative with the spaces that we have. Right. So in the meantime, we, as starting out as a smaller company, we are able to see that finance and policy can be grouped together under administration, which of course does make sense. But then because we're limited to 5 spaces, we group it in that manner. So it will be very personal to you. And from what I've seen, spaces, there's no template. I cannot confirm, but from what I've seen, there's no template. So I hope that hopefully answers your question as well. Cool.
Yeah, that was brilliant. We can continue.
Awesome. So yeah, with that being said, let's go into the crux of task creation. Already you can see here, it says to do, right? To do. And when I click on website development, let me click on that. It shows me everything, right? It shows me everything. If I click on web page design, it shows me navigation and usability. You see, if I click on navigation, it only shows me the task of navigation, right? So let's say under usability, right? We want to create a task, right? under usability, what kind of task do you think that we can create for website development? So a website should be usable, right? There should be a login page. There should be a registration page, right? So let's say for our developer, we can say a task will be to code the registration page, right? Simple example, but of course, I'm sure everyone here, their ideas can start moving on, right? So we can see here, code registration page and usability, right? Let's say we have a whole other task. Let me just shift this quickly. And I'm gonna click save in the meantime, right? So code registration page, right? That's a whole task in itself, right? Let's say another task is to code the login page, right? Cool. So we have that, right? I save this here. Now remember those ClickUps that we did in the beginning? Here is where it starts coming into play. And remember Masoor that now got invited into my, my workspace. Now, if Masoor is the lead developer, I can easily say code the registration page, right? And say, here he is available. So all the members that you have invited into your workspace will be available here. You can quickly say, okay, Masoor, it's up to you to code the registration page, right? I can give it a due date. I'll say by the 30th of August, which is next week, Tuesday, close like that. Priority, let's say it's normal, but you can see urgent, high, normal, low, right? So he will get a notification because there's also an integration with our calendar. So you can sync it to your Apple calendar or your Google calendar in whatever way. So you can also get this notification as soon as I select out a task, right? So let's say it's normal, right? Already that's done. But if Masoor comes in, he says code registration page, there's no comment. It's like, what is this about? How do we break it down? What does it entail, right? Here in ClickUp, wonderfully, they've given us the space for description, right? So again, I being the one that has created the task, I can now add a description saying that this registration page, of course, will be used to sign up customers, right? Sign up customers, right? For our service, right? Or our NFT service, right? Like that. And then a short description so that it reduces the communication of me having to call Masoor and say, hey, this is it, this is it. So you get creative in your communication because a business always runs on, you know, proper communication as well. So ClickUp in a sense also teaches you how to effectively communicate, right? So, oh, okay, I see a raised hand from Masoor. Please do.
Yeah, just a small comment from my side for the people listening. So Emmanuel has put a short description there to describe the task. I just want to explain that it could also be a very detailed description about what the task entails. You could also include things like links to videos that the person must watch. Maybe I need to learn how to do it a specific way. Emmanuel wants to link a YouTube video. He can also put that in the description. It can get as detailed as you want. And I think Emmanuel's going to go into more detail about how to make this task more powerful. The idea is that Emmanuel can give me work without needing to, and he can brainstorm, write it down, think about all the details, think about all the, I think he'll describe it. There's going to be subtasks and attachments and all of that, right? Emmanuel will explain it. This is before he then calls me. And I just want to make a point for everybody who's listening that think about how powerful that is as a collaboration tool, where now Emmanuel's not going to call me, hey, dog, did you do the website thingy? Yeah, no, I've been meaning to do it. No, all my work, it's going to be time tracked. It's written there, what I'm busy with, what I changed to in progress to show that I'm sitting by my computer and really working, what I changed to complete. If I'm documenting the work that I'm completing, everything will be there. And it won't be, but you said you were going to do it last week. No, exactly. But I thought you said that I must do it. Just think about how we operate small businesses. I like that it's all people of color in this space, but think about how we operate businesses, family business, or anything like that. The amount of conflicts that we get into and what stops it from being a scalable business. Also imagine how to onboard investors into your processes and how to describe to them exactly how much work you do, how much you need. And, documentation is everything in business. And I'm just going to let Emmanuel continue with his explanation. Just want to provide that context.
Brilliant addition right there. But yeah, thank you so much, Maso, for that. So yeah, as Maso also said, you can get really creative with your description, right? So that there's no confusion at all, right? So it helps you practice effective communication like that. And also there's a ledger right here. You created this task 4 minutes ago, right? Every step of the way of the history of this task is there. So you can see whether someone tried to even move or edit something like that. You'd be like, there's a different version of it. So it also helps with integrity of the task as well, right? And because it was me that created it, it's not easily able to be edited like that. If I have more people in the, oh, okay, I see a hand, I think a new hand from myself.
It was the same hand.
Sorry. Same hand. Sorry. Okay, no problem. Okay, cool. So assign, right? We can assign more people if there were more people in the space, of course. So it's not only limited to Maso's task. Created here at the exact time tracked. Now, time tracked is also important. If you decided to go and start to work on this task, right? All you have to do here is say click time here, and it starts tracking your time. This will help, of course, in billing. This will help, of course, in workload. This will help, of course, in just overall transparency with the work that you've done. If you're saying it took you 1 hour to set up a Google Doc, right? We'll be able to see it and be like, how can you say that it took you 1 hour to set up a Google Doc? But that's why it's important to say time track, this is the work I'm putting, so that it can justify your work. So we can say that, okay, you're taking too long on this specific task. Please stop, this one is taking too long, and we can start prioritizing, where the work needs to go for different, let's say, departments per se. But you will have all of this data when it comes to your dashboards, when it comes to your weekly reports or your progress reports, right? So that's another feature. Estimate time. So this is the one where I can say, okay, Maso, it might take you 1 hour to do that, right? Brilliant coder like that. I say it should take you 1 hour. You put in the time track. If you say 3 hours, I'm like, no, this should have been done in 1 hour. You see how effective communication can come in here where it's like, why is it taking you longer than it should, right? So these are all little functionalities in ClickUp that I believe will be very, very helpful. And also, we have what we call subtasks, right? Subtasks in the space. So within the code, your registration page, right? What kind of subtasks can you think of? Of course, that could be register validation, right? So the new user, register validation. And here is where you can also really get very creative, right? With what you put here. So that this being the main task of code registration page, right? And there's a young description, your subtask is really what you tick off, you tick off, you tick off, you tick off, you tick off. Let's say register validation or code register validation. And let's say link it to database, right? Because now you need a place where you can store the names, right? Over here, what does this color represent? To do, assign it to Maso, right? Assign it to Maso. And here, imagine this, look at ClickUp. You click in it, this is a subtask. You see website development, the space, web page design, usability. Right here, there's a subtask where you can also add your description. So you can see how granular this can go, right? And from here, there's no added space for subtasks, but you can add a checklist, right? Even if you want to go really deep, like validation. Let me just say validate, something like that. Let me say this. Validate, right? If your task becomes so big, but it has multiple players coming into that space to work on it, right? You can see how granular you can go. And even here, assign, like I can assign Maso. So you'll know exactly who's doing what, how far they are, the time tracks, the estimates, all of that coming together into this one task, right? So with that being said, let me just go back to it here. Already, you can see it says 2 subtasks that are still yet to be done, right? You can also add attachments if there's a document or some other document or research paper that you have that might assist your employee or Maso in this case to help him complete the work. That's also there. And yeah, this is when, let's say, register validation, right? If I click on this and I'm saying this is now in progress, do you see, I clicked on that arrow, right? So now if I go back, right? If I go back, the colors have changed. Remember the space setup in the beginning? Very, very important, right? Let's say link to database. It's also in progress, right? So I know whenever I log in, right? Me as the one that has created this task, I log in, I'll be able to see where exactly Maso is at in this task that I've given him for 1 hour, right? Until he says done or review, right? Also alluding to Carol's question, right? Here it will be review, so it's waiting to be in review. Here it will also be, let's say this one is done, link to database is done, right? Let's assume that everything in this task is now done, right? So I'm gonna do this, Let me say done, done, right, as well. This can now change, the main task can now change to review, right, which is in the done space, and then done eventually. Look at the color change, right? So if I click on website design, if I click on usability, remember we created 2 tasks. Now done is under that. To do is called the login page. So it's a clear separation of what still needs to be done under this list and what, you know, is still in progress. So even the in progress custom status will also appear over here, right? And of course, it's in green, meaning that Maso has still got time, but it is done, right? Now that final part that I said about complete and it being out of sight, if I click on closed, right? Are you sure about this, right? Resolve all items. Okay, that's because I haven't clicked on close the previous times, but I'll do that now. I'll say resolve all items. Status change to closed. It's completely out of sight, right? It's out of sight. The only thing that's left in this list is called the login page, right? So from there, I'm like, if we had another member here, it'll be like, okay, I only see the task was usability, right? And it's out of sight. Of course, there's a functionality here where you can say show, and it says show closed tasks, right? It shows it there, but then it can get really messy, of course. So hence ClickUp has introduced this closed task space where it can be out of sight once it's done, once it's been reviewed, and then that's that. If I still want it visible, I click on done, right? It will not change. It will always be there. It will always be a task that's done. But then, of course, as time goes on, as work improves, as a lot of work comes in, you'll want to have that space where it eventually disappears, right? And it's Maso, I see your hand. Please do share.
No, thank you, Manuel. I just wanted to ask what's next on the agenda.
Oh, I
am looking timekeeping.
Yes, 100%. It's the docs and the people management. So I will quickly skim through that. So I'm thinking the docs and people management will be really quick as well. But I am done with this section, the main crux of it. Okay.
Are you sure? I also want time for us to be able to really talk to people in the space and them to ask questions. So I'm wondering if, I mean, this was already, you know, now sitting through it, I'm seeing this was quite extensive.
Yeah.
And I want to get a sense of how everyone is feeling and all of that. And, you know, perhaps maybe if we've hit the pulse, then maybe we can set up another session, another time for more detailed stuff.
Okay.
But yeah, I want to check the temperature in the room if that's okay.
No problem. Yes, because we do want to respect people's times as well.
100%. So everyone that's currently listening, Emmanuel, do you want to wrap up? Is there a way you want to wrap up, or should I take it?
So I am okay. You're gonna check the temperature in the room. I don't know should I stop it? Because I'm finished this section. It was the docs and the people management. I think even people management is more important than docs, to be honest. But
yeah, I'm thinking, so I'm thinking those things, you know, we don't want to rush through them when I'm looking at the allocated time.
Okay.
So let's kind of conclude.
Okay.
And then let's get everybody's input, if that's okay.
No problem. Then you can go ahead. You can conclude. No problem.
Okay. So to everybody that's listening, right? If we do have time, maybe at the end of this, then maybe Manuel can go into docs. But just so that this part is done, which is important, we have 10 minutes to get everybody's input and to answer questions. I think what you're supposed to take away from this is that this is a tool that you would want to use if you want to take your project management to the next level. And by project management, I just mean that if you want to build stuff, anything sustainable, if you have that, like I said, you have an idea of a nonprofit organization that you want to start, you know, you need a central place to manage all your activities, all your documents. You need to have your stuff in order. And this is really powerful for the people here, because if you are not well resourced, meaning you can't afford a large team of somebody just to do your administration, somebody just to do your booking, somebody just to handle your clients, somebody just to train and look for new talent in your business. These are the things that make great businesses. It's that level of effort. So if you want to step outside of small business level, you'll really get to familiarize yourself with this, right? This will give you, Emmanuel has just given you an introduction, but it's given us so much insight about our own operations, about our shortcomings. I mean, to the point where I think even the subtasks have a time tracker. So you can, this is a overview as a manager of people, of groups. Any great thing is done with a large group, right? You can't do it alone. It's nice to know exactly where the problem in my business is, especially, you know, and it's nice to give that confidence, you know, to, let's say I'm speaking to an investor and somebody wants to put money in my business. You know, I need to have that level of knowledge in my business to know exactly when the investor's money is being wasted. We know exactly what the problem is and who to hold accountable. And I think those are the things that really separate the greatest businesses that achieve exactly what they set out to do, especially when you have a big goal, a big business, versus a small business that you get excited and you do for 2 years and then you give up because, I don't know, you have some sort of excuse by the end of that 2 years. I just didn't have this. I just didn't have that. I'm going to open up the floor for people to ask questions. Let me start by that. Does anyone have any question? Let's start there. Anyone with a question? Anyone at all? There's Lizzie.
I see Carol.
Okay, so Lizzie first and then Carol.
Okay, guys, I will not lie. I did not catch all of that because I was busy while Emmanuel was presenting, right? I was in the meeting the entire time, but I was occupied with other things. So it's a good thing that this is recorded. So I will watch it over again, and then hopefully we can have another session sometime in the near future. But I did take some notes down, and yeah, I will have questions in the future, definitely.
Okay.
No problem.
No problem, Lizzie. Thank you so much for just even being here. It's great to liaise. Carol, you had a question?
Yeah. This is actually indeed a great tool, actually powerful tool, and it's actually even it's exciting. But then I would just suggest that how about maybe we have another session that we, like, people who attend, we download the app, and as you go through as you go through the training of the workshop, and we are also able, you know, to also do it on ourselves, so that we know where is it the part where we actually find it a bit difficult, you know, so that we can really know, okay, did I get everything right, or this is the part that is no, it's actually a bit hectic. So yeah, that's my suggestion. And then the question, the only question that I have is it available for Android and also Android as well, or it's only available for iPhone?
Okay. Emmanuel, may I please tackle that?
Yes, 100%.
Okay. So, I mean, I'll start with your second question first. Yes, it's available for both Android and iOS. You can get it on your Play Store or your App Store. Just search for ClickUp. I did mention that you can get it on mobile on your phone earlier on, so that's great. And then Emmanuel actually did discuss with me on your other question. Emmanuel did discuss with me whether we should allow everyone to register and then go through it with us. That will definitely be in a different session. This was just an introduction to the idea for you to be able to see that something like this exists out there, and for you just to get an inkling of the power that's possible if you spend time actually trying to learn it. The step-by-step tutorial, look how already complex all of this was that Emmanuel had to go through. We didn't have time to cover everything on the agenda. So we did predict that we'll be squeezed for time. And if everyone had to then register, some people might have internet problems. We didn't know how many people would join this session. And then, somebody might struggle with one thing, and imagine how long that would have taken and how confusing it might have made what's already a very intricate administration process, right? This is a tool for administration. It's already difficult, and adding the tutorial aspect or taking people through might have been difficult, but perhaps we can look into doing that in an advanced session. I'm glad you brought it up, because it just means that, there's a demand to learn more, to actually figure it out. I'm interested in, with what's been presented today, I guess you guys did ask your questions. What are your takeaways? Do you feel like this tool is right, that you could use it, that it's right for you? Let me start with Lizzie. Lizzie, are you going to now download and start learning about ClickUp?
Definitely, because I do plan on starting a business of my own in the near future. So this would be a great platform for me to do that. But knowing myself, I learn better by doing something, right? So as I go through the app by myself, or if I go through the app by myself, I know that I will learn it better. So yeah, it's a very good app.
Carol, how was your experience? Do you appreciate this talk? Are you going to go and learn more about it?
Yeah, I actually do appreciate this, and then I'm gonna definitely download it. I'll start using it for my personal use, and I also like the fact that it's free, and I guess for my personal use, that 5 space maximum that it provides, it'll be enough for time being. So yeah, I'll definitely do that. And after having accumulated a bit of experience, I think I would also recommend it for some of my friends, because it's actually good for management, especially project, as you said, big and small. So yeah, definitely. Thank you so much for this initiative.
Okay. No problem, 100%. Cyril, do you have any comment? I see you haven't spoken the whole time. Are you there? Can you unmute your mic? And if not, I'm going to pass it down to Emmanuel if you want to say a final thing before we log off. We have less than a minute.
I'm just checking. I don't know if Sid. Okay, I think Sid is all right. If he hasn't said
it's
anything.
okay.
Can you just say this quickly? Hello? Can you hear me?
Can you hear
100%.
Hey guys, I'm so grateful for this presentation. I've seen this ad a few times on YouTube, but I wasn't really too sure if there was any value to be extracted from it. So having gone through this this presentation, I'm grateful for insight given. It seems like it's a very flexible tool as well. Like it's not limited to just like a financial modeling task or like a schedule for me and the people I blog with. Not to say that I'm blogging with anyone. So I'm just grateful for the demonstration, and yeah, I think I'll download it. I'm not too sure, but yeah, I'm closer to downloading it than I was yesterday. So I'm grateful for that.
Okay. No, 100%, guys. These project management tools, we have less than a minute. People like Vusi Tembakwa, he uses Asana. as well for his team. ClickUp is new and is disrupting Asana. Just know that the most influential people in business in any space are using these softwares. They cut down on a lot of administration costs and old administrative processes that exist in business today. Emmanuel, any final comment? We have less than a minute.
No, otherwise everything is good. Thank you guys so much for coming through. We will have another session.
Okay. No, guys, thank you for everything. Emmanuel, thank you for keeping it timely. Great presentation. And we will link up soon.
Cool.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.